A leap of faith, buying a house without seeing it. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you my experience buying a house without ever seeing it in person. I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually becoming more and more common these days, especially with the rise of virtual tours and online marketplaces. So, if you're considering buying a house sight unseen, stick around and I'll tell you everything you need to know. To begin with, let me introduce myself. I'm Jocelyn, and I'm a real estate investor. A few years ago, I heard about a new trend in real estate, buying houses sight unseen. At first, I was skeptical. How could I possibly make such a big decision without ever stepping foot inside the property? But as I learned more about the process and the potential benefits, I became intrigued. Long story short, I decided to give it a try. I found a property that I thought had a lot of potential, and I made an offer without ever seeing it in person. The seller accepted, and a few months later, I was the proud owner of my first sight unseen house. So, what was it like to buy a house without seeing it? To be honest, it was a little nerve-wracking at first. But I did my research, I hired a qualified inspector, and I had a contingency clause in my contract that allowed me to back out if the house wasn't what I expected. The house was everything I had hoped for and more. It was in great condition, it was in a great location, and it had a ton of potential. We intend to renovate it and then list this house on Airbnb while we're out of the country so we can earn extra income. After going through this experience, I learned a few valuable lessons that I'd like to share with you. Before you even think about buying a house sight unseen, do your research and make sure you know exactly what you're getting into. Read the listing carefully, look at the photos, and read the inspection report. I cannot stress this enough. Hiring a qualified inspector to evaluate the property is absolutely essential. A good inspector will be able to identify any major issues with the house that could potentially cost you a lot of money down the road. Get a contingency clause in your contract, allows you to back out of the contract if certain conditions are not met. For example, you might want to include a clause that allows you to back out if the inspection reveals major issues with the house. Of course, there are both pros and cons to buying a house sight unseen. One of the biggest pros of buying a house sight unseen is the convenience. You can shop for houses from anywhere in the world, and you don't have to worry about scheduling showings or dealing with real estate agents. The process of buying a house sight unseen can be much faster than the traditional process. You can make an offer on a house as soon as you see it online, and you don't have to wait for showings or inspections. Buying a house sight unseen can potentially save you money on travel and accommodation costs, especially if you're buying a house in a distant location. The biggest con of buying a house sight unseen is the risk involved. You're essentially making a major purchase without ever seeing the property in person, and there's always the chance that the house may not be what you expected. When you buy a house sight unseen, you don't have the opportunity to get a feel for the property or the neighborhood. You may end up buying a house that you don't really like, or that's not suitable for your needs. Potential for hidden problems. Even with a thorough inspection, there's always the chance that there may be hidden problems with the house that you wouldn't have discovered without seeing it in person. So, is buying a house sight unseen a good idea? Ultimately, that's a decision that you'll need to make for yourself. There are both pros and cons to consider, and it's important to weigh the risks and benefits carefully before making a decision. If you're considering buying a house sight unseen, I would strongly recommend doing your research, hiring a qualified inspector, and getting a contingency clause in your contract. Those things will help to reduce the risk and make the process as smooth as possible. Our exciting new house and renovation video will be posted soon. Join us as we take you on a journey through the transformation of a dated and neglected property into a stunning modern home. From the initial planning stages to the final touches, we'll share all the behind-the-scenes details and insights. In this video, you'll witness the remarkable transformation of each room, from the living area to the bedrooms, kitchen, and bathrooms. We'll show you how we creatively maximized space, incorporated smart storage solutions, and selected stylish finishes to create a cohesive and inviting living environment. Stay tuned for the release of our upcoming house and renovation video. Subscribe to our channel now to be among the first to see the transformation and get inspired for your own home improvement projects. Don't miss out on this exciting journey of turning a forgotten property into a beautifully renovated dream home.